I would say funny things, and pretty much, well, the way that I started being funny was I would talk in different people's accents and act like other people. And I'd talk in country accents and sometimes ebonics or a white rapper or whatever you call it, like how they say some people, black people might talk, but I'm always really kind to black people. Uh, I don't want to do anything against black people. Don't go into any of that. And and so I liked being funny and America's pretty good how it is today. We don't have to change it at all. You might want to change it with some ideas you think are good, and they'll listen to you and they'll look for new ideas. And I once had an internship at Universal Studios on the Universal Studios theme park. Not the theme park, the Universal Studios. And there was a small development company with one of the biggest producers at Universal Studios who was in there, Kevin Misher. And they discovered the Rock Dwayne Johnson and then made the Scorpion King movie. And I got a copy of the script before they filmed it, and they're going to film it in Hawaii. And I quit the internship before I went to Hawaii with them or something like that. And there were only 12 of us, I think, in the development offices at the Universal Studios lot. And here's what they had us do as an intern when I was a student 25 years ago, or 20, I don't know what that means. Okay. Uh, so I was on the Universal theme park getting my MFA from one of the best film schools on earth, Chapman University. I worked the hours of about three full-time jobs a day. It's not easy. It's not like I just messed around and did crappy drugs or expense. I don't do drugs. I don't know why somebody threw that in there. Uh, so when I was at school, I worked hard, and that's what I did the whole time I was in California. And here's the thing is the insiders, the Hollywood insiders and the president people, the judiciary, the Senate judiciary, legislative, the people in power in the government, they look for new ideas. And at the development studio, one of the guys started as an intern, and he was a writer. They gave him a raise to a writer. I went back to the film school I was at and wrote my own movie and starred in it. A real Hollywood movie. It was a $155,000 budget. $155,000 budget for a student film. That's pretty good. And I was a lead star. And, you know, he was a writer at a small development company. Did he even get the writing credit? Or I don't know, and so here's the thing that they do. They look for new ideas for movies. The movie studios look for new ideas. So as an intern 20 years ago, or 20 something years ago, 20 it was in the year 2003, they look ooh, they look for new ideas. I showered today, by the way. I cleaned my house and I showered. And they look for new ideas, and there's so much more than this. Uh, they look for new ideas, the development studios, and the government looks for new ideas. And the government in Washington is similar to the movie industry. And the movie industry, when they're looking for new ideas, they had us as interns look through all the news. They brought in newspapers, physical copies and stuff, and they had us do various things to look for ideas for what to make a movie about. And then they hired writers to make a movie. And so they had us do stuff like that. Like look through, it was 20 years ago. And I quit the internship. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but I quit the internship and it was too much of a drive. I couldn't commute 6 hours a day. And so sometimes really big movie people in the movie industry, and I'm a pretty big guy in the movie industry. I'm a big Hollywood producer. I produce various budget levels of movies with me as the star, and thousands of videos with me as the star that I own the rights to. So, so they look for ideas from people, and they don't really want to give them credit. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They may option an idea and give them credit or not. But there are some people, when you really start learning about what the movie industry is about, and people who are like really super wealthy elite and more than that, you know, super wealthy elite's only like 30 million is the entry level for super wealthy elite. But some people, okay, there are people who are so genius. They're a young person. They may be from a wealthy, really wealthy elite family, or they may be from a poor family, and they find a way to look for new ideas from people, and they take their styles and they take their ideas and they use it in their own way. And sometimes it's like, what is that? And it's not even that cool. Or sometimes it's pretty cool what they do. And so they might be really bad and they might be really good and you can't judge them. And they're huge people in the movie industry and in politics and stuff like that. And sometimes they take your ideas if they see somebody doing some big thing out there around people a bunch. Like when I was making my movie at the film school, they took my ideas and they probably, came up with their own stuff. They looked at it and they thought, well, you're not allowed to send unsolicited ideas to the movie industry, but the government may take people's ideas too if they see them out there doing things. And sometimes characters are based on people who walked around in New York, like Al. They made a movie about based on who he was, and some other movies. And I think I've seen both of my grandfathers. They're out and about in New York City, and they had an okay paying job. You know, not something that Al did, but some of them might. They have an okay paying job. And they're out there a bunch, out and about. Like somebody like Howard Stern before he got really famous, but not that big. They might be poor. But look at Howard Stern. He was out and about with a big afro, big nose, really tall. I think they made Big Bird after him. I think that's where they came up with the idea with Big Bird when he was really young, walking around New York or Cincinnati or wherever he was. People saw him walking around; they couldn't help but see him, and so they made Big Bird. I think after Howard Stern when he had a big afro and a big nose and stuff, and then they have regular people are kind of smaller. Like my grandfather, he was a pretty big engineer. He made a bunch of money, kind of, but sometimes he wouldn't work and he'd stay at home. And I think they named a character after him, uh, the vampire-looking cartoon character, Boris or something. They made him look Mexican, but he wasn't Mexican. He was Sicilian. He had a space between his teeth, and he was. I think they made it. I made that. I think they made that after him. They so noticed him walking around New York. Also, my other grandfather, I think they put him in the Lightning McQueen movie. He was the chief of the NYPD, the uh, most powerful police officer there was back then. But that was all taken away, and he had very little when he got in his old age. He had enough to get by. He kind of had enough money, but he had to suffer a little bit for any sin that he had done. And he was humble and kind, and he was quiet. He never said anything. He never said anything mean. He was quiet and good, and he's with the Holy Spirit. He has the gentle love of the Holy Spirit now. Okay, so there's people who have a bunch of big money. You can't judge them. They might be good and they might be really bad. And some poor people, I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe I'd like to just quit the really big money, fast paced stuff, but I can't because I'm married to Danica. So God has me hanging in there by a thread to stay married to her. And maybe I'm supposed to do those big things, but I was going to quit. And it was also frightening. Some things got just bad. And the poor people are pretty mean too. Uh, the poor people, some of them are kind of mean too. So I think I'll hang in there and stay married to Danica. Okay, praise Jesus. I know I'll stay in there hanging and be married to Danica. Bye.